All right, guys, Joe McDonough back with CageSidePress.com. Hit that subscribe button, that like button, comment, do it all. I'm here with XFC's star, Andre Soukhamthath. Andre, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
And I appreciate the time. I mean, it seems, we saw you at the end of 2020, debut for XFC, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But, I always like to hear the fighters' journey through 2020 because it's such a bizarre year, not even as a fighter, but just a human being.
Yeah, it was tough. But that's kind of what makes people who they are. Just trying to survive and that struggle. And I think 2020 was a little struggle for everybody. Especially fighters who couldn't fight, right? So the hardest part for me, like in life, the 2020 was hard because my kids were out of school. So I had to become a teacher all of a sudden from homeschooling and doing the virtuals. That was really hard. And plus, my son he needs some special lessons.
Education.
You know what I mean? With reading and math and it was tough, but I think it was a blessing in disguise because he's doing so good now. Like he's literally reading books on his own. Third grade level books, and he's in second grade. And I think it was because of the time that me and my wife put into him ourselves, that extra homework. And, that was a tough spot. I picked up a little job, a third shift job too. You know what I mean? I was working like 12 hours a day. Let's just say I was burning like 2,000 calories every night. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's crazy that I actually got a fight at the end of 2020. I actually got to fight in 2020 with all that going on. It was pretty cool.
100%. And I'm a teacher by trade. This is all a side gig. So, one thing I noticed, with the students coming back is they want to be there now. It's no longer the school. You still have that, but it's also social time. Some of them haven't seen their friends, and this is their time to see their friends for the first time in a year, and they're like sitting there wanting to learn because they're like, I was stuck in the house for 8 months. I'm done with this.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome, man.
And tell me about XFC 43, your debut with the promotion. First fight after the UFC release. Tell me about it. Big win, split decision. Talk me through it.
XFC was professional from the get-go, from me signing with them, from us doing business on the phone and, kind of expressing their plans to me. And I liked it. So I signed for this fight, main event spot, super fight. And once I got there, I did the camp, I prepared. They did a little promo. They had a team come out and film a commercial, which was pretty cool. They sent me out some gear right when I signed on. And then when fight week came, it was just like any other promotion. I flew there a couple of days before, 3 days before, and I got put into a hotel. I did my media stuff. I did my promotion obligations, and it felt like it was similar to the UFC. It was very professional. We had photo shoots. We had to do some signings. We had a per diem, and I had coaches that were taken care of too. So it was good, and the staff was really good, very professional. And once we got to the weigh-ins, I saw the production of the weigh-ins and how they were doing things with the cool DJ and the lights and the setup. And I was just like, wow, this is going to be for real. And I think everybody that saw not just the weigh-ins, but the fight itself, with Pat Miletich commenting also, it was a great show overall, man. And they got good talent.
Absolutely they do. As Young Guns 2 is on the same night. And one thing, when I talked to XFC president, Myron, one thing he said was XFC is not a stepping stone. It's not like an LFA where, you kind of get the title and then chase that UFC. He feels that XFC is trying to get on par with, UFC, Bellator, these other things that it is a major promotion. Do you feel that it is getting to that point that XFC is not a stepping stone? It's not a regional or anything like that. That it is, somewhere that you're going to stay and somewhere that you feel a lot of talent is going to stay instead of going to UFC or other promotions.
Absolutely. And they expressed that to me when I signed with them. That listen, we're coming back and we're coming back strong, and we want to compete with these big organizations. And by the way they're doing things, it's only their second show coming back, but I think that they can do it. I think that we can do it. I'm XFC 2 now, and I'm going to try everything in my power to get my fans and my followers behind the XFC, which I think they are. And the XFC, they're doing a great job, promoting their fighters and promoting themselves. And what I really like about Myron, the CEO, the president of XFC, was, he'll say that pump up fight, like go out there, put on the show. But what stood out to me was he said, I don't care what your record was outside of the XFC. You are starting new right now. Your record is 0-0 right now, and you are starting new. That we are coming back strong. And that really gave me confidence, because obviously everybody knows that I'm a good fighter and I put on a good show. But when they look at your record inside the UFC or overall, they kind of judge you in some way. And I didn't feel judged fighting in the XFC. I felt valued.
Mm-hmm. And tell me what XFC 44. It's going to be all over Fox, all over all the, Young Guns 2, it's two separate cards in one card. It's a very interesting, very cool atmosphere. And tell me about, your upcoming opponent.
It's a crazy atmosphere, man. You got to be there to experience it. Like it's awesome. And my opponent, he's a tough fighter. He's an ex-UFC fighter too. He's a veteran, man. His record, he's way better than his record because he fought in the UFC 8 times. Predominantly, all his fights were in the UFC. Mm-hmm. And he's a scrapper, man. He has heart, and he's gonna bring it. And he's gonna get the best Andre Soukhamthath because he's pushing me to that limit every day in the training room, and it's gonna come out, man. He's gonna bring his best. I'm gonna bring my best, and just like what the XFC wants from us, we're gonna put on a show.
Absolutely, man. I look forward to it. You're a Rhode Island native. You're down in Florida. You've been down in Florida. Tell me, were you at your former home in your new home in the sense of CES coming to Florida? I mean, were you trying to go to the show? Were you watching? Obviously you were a legendary CES fighter up here over in Rhode Island, and they went down to Florida to have a show.
Man, it was amazing. I even told, Mr. Birchfield and the matchmaker, Pat, hey, if you guys need any help, let me know. If you need any fighters from my team, I know a lot of guys are looking for a fight, and they actually got 2 or 3 guys on the card, which I appreciated, which, one of them got matched up with one of my good friends. It was a main event, Josh against Dennis, and they were both my good friends. One of my teammate and one Dennis I knew for a long time, 10 years. He was at my wedding and everything. And Josh is a good teammate of mine, and we train together every single day. And they got matched up, but that's just the game. Sometimes I stayed out of it, and I was able to make CES in Orlando. It was a 2-hour, 30-minute drive. It's not too far, so I took the opportunity to get dressed up. I went with my wife. I went with a couple of friends, and we went to go watch the show because we haven't been to a live event like that, fighting especially, in maybe about 2 years, man. So it was really cool not to just be at the fights, but to see a lot of familiar faces, man, because although I'm not with CES anymore, I'm never going to forget everything, we've been through. Man, I had like 12 fights with them. That's a lot of fights. And it's not just business with them. They're like my family. And plus, they're out of Rhode Island. So it's always love with CES.
And that's a recurring theme. I talked to Dennis after his loss and retirement. CES is family. It seems like that's the recurring theme with anyone that's fought with CES, especially at a high level. Last one for me, Andre. XFC 44, 8 days away. What's the prediction?
I'm going to come out with my hand raised no matter what. And I'm going to go out there. I'm going to try to finish this guy. I'm going to try to smash him. You know, I don't have to hold my power back like I do in the training room. I'm going to go in there next Friday night, and I'm going to let these fists fly at 100%. Let my kicks fly at 100%. Let my flying knees and my elbows fly at 100%. So if he can weather the storm, it will be a great fight. If he can't, he'd be sleeping on the mat, just like you see me do to many others.
Absolutely, Andre. I look forward to it. Catch XFC 44 the end of this month, the 28th. Andre, thank you very much for the time.
Thank you, brother.